So, you want to learn how to be a fighter pilot, dragon pilot, dragon man? You want to learn how to fly good. Whatever option you want, that's what this guide's for. Though I don't think I'm legally able to teach people how to be fighter pilots, and I'm really not sure about turning people into dragon men. Though what I can show you is everything that I've learned so far about dragon riding and how to do it most efficiently. So I guess the best place to start is with the basics and abilities that you have access to. So the first thing is the energy that's used while dragon riding. This is called vigor. It's denoted by these crystals and energy bar at the bottom of your screen. When you start, you'll only have access to 3 of them, but you'll unlock more as you unlock your talents. Your dragon riding abilities each have a vigor cost, and your vigor recharges during certain actions while dragon riding. These actions being flying at high speeds, which is shown when your dragon is glowing blue, and while you're on the ground, your vigor also recharges slowly. As you unlock talents, these recharge much faster, ending up as every 5 seconds while flying and every 15 seconds on the ground. These talents are unlocked by finding the glyphs, as you can see above me, around the map. Each glyph gives 1 point, and as you unlock more talents, they'll be easier to get. I would definitely recommend going and grabbing all of these glyphs and talents as soon as you unlock dragon riding, because it will make leveling a lot easier. The talents you should unlock first are the ones that reduce the time it takes to get a vigor charge while flying. Because the easier of a time you have keeping your vigor charges up, the easier of a time you're going to have keeping yourself up in the air as long as possible. One of these is found at the top of the tree, costing 3 points and making it so you recharge a vigor charge every 10 seconds while flying. And the other is at the bottom of the tree, costing 4 points and making you get a charge every 5 seconds. You do have to unlock all of the talents in between to get to the bottom level, but these should be your first choices as you reach these levels. The reason being is that even with less crystals, you're still actually able to maintain flying really well once you have that 5-second vigor cooldown. The rest of the talents aren't really of much consequence, they just add cool things like, killing a target increases your vigor recharge rate and things like that, but the vigor recharge ones are definitely the most important ones of the lot. Now we'll move on to the abilities and what they do. To start, we have Surge Forward, which costs 1 vigor and has a 1.5 second cooldown. This causes you to fly forward faster and increase your speed. It's not something I'd particularly recommend using as a way to gain speed, but if you need to, it is there. I'll go into more detail about it a bit later in the guide with the niche uses for it when I'm explaining the more advanced flying. But a simple ability, fly forward, gain speed. Next we have Skyward Ascent, same cost, same cooldown. You use this ability to gain height above the current level that you're flying at. The faster that you're going at the time that you use the ability, the more height that you'll get from it, and I'd always recommend to aim your camera upwards when you use it, because you will get extra height doing that as well, because your dragon will be flying upwards already. You will see me doing that a lot of the time in my videos, and you can see the difference that it gives to the height that you can actually get with this thing. The other 2 abilities, Whirling Surge and Bronze Time Lock, you unlock during questing. Honestly, not that useful. Use a lot of vigor. I never use them. I'm sure there's some use for them somewhere, but yeah, not really for flying. Everything about how you gain speed and move with dragon riding is about momentum, which works exactly the same as it does in real life. You gain momentum on your dragon by aiming downwards, and the further down you're aiming, the sharper the dive, which means you gather speed faster. Being able to control these dives to make them as effective as possible, and knowing angles that you can sit at to stay at high speeds without losing height, are super important things to learn. All of this comes with practice though. It's not really a thing that I can just verbally teach, it's just fly your dragon, learn the angles, learn how to dive properly. But learning how to control and generate momentum are 2 of the most important things to know when you're flying. Proper use of this mechanic is what allows you to stay in the air as fast as possible indefinitely. And for some of the dragon glyphs, it's almost necessary to use these mechanics properly to reach them because of the height they're at. which is something that I wish I knew how to do when I was actually unlocking the dragon glyphs in the first place, because I spent a frankly fucking ridiculous amount of time just jumping from the ground with skyward descent and sort of trying to clip myself into mountains to get up to them. But hey, now you get to learn from my mistakes and not waste your time like I did. The worst of these being the one at the top of Thraldras's Peak, which definitely took me a long time to get to because that's how I learned how to do this. And I'll just chuck in a quick video of getting up there, just sped up because it does take a little while to get up there still, even doing it properly, so. And as you'll see, proper use of your vigor charges is necessary to get to the top of here because you use a lot of them.
You're breaking it down, it falls to the ground, 'cause I had lost what you just found, the noise all around.
And once you've learned these mechanics and how to use them, you will be flying around Dragon Isles at top speed all of the time, which makes questing a lot easier because you can get everywhere really fast. But I know what you're really all here for. Speed. This is the part that makes dragon riding the coolest thing that I've ever done in WoW. And I know for sure that as soon as they activate it outside of Dragon Isles as well, I am going to have a ridiculous amount of fun. But in the meantime, let me just show you a couple of things that I've learned to fly really fucking fast and really well. You know how I said I'd come back to Surge Forward? Well, turns out it's basically an infinite speed glitch if you use it properly. The speed boost that you get from it lasts roughly 7.5 seconds, so you actually get 1.5 vigor charges from every single time you use it, which means you don't lose a crystal, and you get halfway to the next one anyway. Of course, this only works when you're on completely flat ground or going downhill, but sometimes it's just nice to go really fast without worrying about your vigor crystals. And you can get surprisingly close to the ground and water, so you can have some cool things of skimming over them with it and getting to the other side of a zone ridiculously fast. But I hear you asking, what if I want to keep speed going uphill? Don't worry, I got you covered on that too. Now, to be fair, this is only something I've worked out how to do over the past couple of days, so I'm still learning how to do it properly, but fuck, it's good. See, it turns out that you can exploit the same mechanic as flying upwards and using skyward descent while actually not gaining much height at all. You still gain the speed, you still gain the exact same amount of momentum from it, but you stay pretty close to the ground. Again, it's not perfect. I'm still trying to learn how to do it properly, but as far as my testing goes, it seems that if I do it right, you can maintain vigor crystals permanently as well doing that, so. Now, explaining how to do it is a little bit more complicated. You are using the same tactic as aiming upwards when using skyward descent, but as soon as you're pressing the button, you're flicking your camera downwards to the ground, because it seems to give you the same effect as using it fully flying upwards, but just not raising your height. So you get the speed and you recharge enough Vigor Crystals if you do it properly. So, I don't know if it's a bug. It's cool. I hope it doesn't go away before the beta ends, but yeah. But using those two little tricks, you're able to do a lot with flying really close to the ground, which basically turns the entire world into an obstacle course. And is there really any point to flying around like that and weaving between trees and through buildings and shit? No, but it's fun, so who gives a fuck? And speaking of weaving through trees and buildings, I definitely recommend using Azure Span as a training spot. It is really good to learn how to steer your dragon. As I said earlier too, this is just all about practice. Just go out there, fly around, have a good time, and you will pick it up eventually. And in no time, you'll be zooming around the map doing just dumb shit. What's not to love? To bring it back to something, I guess, kind of more useful, each of the mounts actually has a different height, and they can't all fit through the same doorways. So if you are trying to get through a particular hole in a building and your mount can't fit, try one of the other mounts. Maybe you just need to do that to get through there and get the trick. I hope this helps at least someone with getting better at their dragon riding. I've probably forgotten to add at least something knowing me, but either way, hope you enjoyed it. Go out there and have fun. Dragon riding is by far the best thing that Wizards added to the game, and there is so much more that they can do with it. Like I said in my other video description, I hope they add something like the ability to make courses, you know. But yeah, have fun.